Any examples used are for illustrative purposes only and do not take into account your particular investment objectives, financial situation, or needs, and may not be suitable for all investors. It is not intended to predict the performance of any specific investment and is not a solicitation or recommendation of any investment strategy.
This is another Money Show. Get set for another hour of the latest financial information and economic news affecting your bottom line. JR and Anthony are committed to helping more Americans like you optimize their income, reduce their tax risk, and reach financial freedom. So let's start the show. Here are your hosts, Anthony Correo and JR Rotchford.
Here we are, your hosts, Anthony Correo and J.R. Rotchford, taking a break from our day-to-day as financial advisors with Rochford and Associates, a fully independent fourth-generation family office right here in Sun City to bring you information you may not find on those other financial radio shows. We're the last thing you need is another money show, but we appreciate you being here. And even though we're recording a day early on April 1st, we will not be fooling you today because Jay already pissed me off to start the day. So that was great because I forgot it was April Fool's.
I love to piss you off. I don't like that language. I think that's kind of colorful language for a good kid. You're a good kid, Anthony. Your beard, I don't know, but you're a good kid. So with that, I don't have any articles. I have nothing to talk about. I have only shout outs today. I have about 43 shout outs, so we probably won't get to the show at all, but let me jump into those shout outs. So I want to start out with one of our very most loyal listeners. I don't bring him up often enough. I get a lot of feedback, usually during the show. He's big on Messenger. Young man's name is Jason. And Jason actually came in the office today and sat down with Anthony and me. And it's funny because we tell people, if you want the appointment to be a half an hour, set it with Anthony. If you want it an hour and a half, set it with me. That's to a T what happens, because the first, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes or an hour was Jason and me fixing all the world's problems. We sat there and chatted about everything. We're already on the same page with so much. So it's kind of, we're just, misery loves company kind of thing. But then when it came time to do some financial planning, Anthony came in, and within a half an hour later, that was done. And then we got back to chatting.
And then I had to come in and give you a 10-minute warning because I knew that you guys would not be prepared on time.
You did, but we were not scared either, so it went very well. But anyway, Jason, we love you. You're one of our most loyal listeners, and we appreciate you. So another shout out, John in Peoria. I want to talk about John for a second. John is another loyal listener. He gave me a little bit of grief last week. John said that we shout out, our big push now is to shout out our kids that listen at 5 a.m. He's like, what about the people that listen at 11 o'clock at night on a Friday? So apparently John does not listen on Saturdays. He listens to the podcast on Friday. And so here's your shout out. I mean, if you have to beg for it, it shouldn't mean as much, but here it is. So good for you. I'm glad you're listening. But then he kind of negated the goodness of the shout out because he said a lot of times he'll fall asleep. How in the hell, right? If you're listening to most radio shows, most money shows, I get it. I mean, it's like the audio version of reading a prospectus, but our show, you can't fall asleep during another money show. So anyway, John, you are another one that's been listening all 4 years. So we appreciate it. So, and anybody that didn't know that, the podcast usually goes out on Friday afternoon or evening. So if you don't want to wait for Saturday, if you want kind of a sneak peek, if you want to listen on demand, find us at Spotify or Google or whatever, any of these. You can find us anywhere. Just do an internet search. Use your DuckDuckGo, not Google, and find us, Another Money Show. We have a YouTube channel. If you're not familiar with that, we would love your help on that. We're narrowing in on 700 subscribers. This has been a long road to get our subscriber base to grow, but we do have almost 500,000 views on our videos and shorts. So thank you for that. Couple more shout outs. Dino's Pizza in Surprise, and the owner, Pete.
So good.
They opened up their shop this last Saturday to it's like a meetup. I'm on Facebook. I'm on a page called Arizona Pizza Lovers. And so they go around the valley. They go to different pizza places and try the pizza. And, it's just a get together. It seems to me like it's average 10 to 20 people when they meet up. So you'll get to meet Matt and Leo and Fred and Mitch and a bunch of people that are super cool. So all of you that I've met a couple times now, I'm going to try to start even going to the east side of the valley and meet up with you over there. But Dino's was great. We love that place. Anthony and I have been going there for many years, and we love that place. So glad other people got introduced to it. Let's see what else is going on. I want to give another shout out to Rick. Rick Kryberg gave me a little bit of grief over how I bobbled his name a couple weeks ago. He's from Veterans Affinity, and I'm going to push until I get him on this show. He's doing really important work in our community, actually in our entire state. He's in Yuma and Globe and all over the state. So Rick, I want to get you on the show. I know your last name now for sure is Kryberg and not Kreberg. So I'm going to be pushing you. We met up with Rick on Monday night. We went to the Diamondbacks home opener. So that was cool. Got a friend that works there, guy that I play with poker, a guy named Gary. He's one of the big dogs. He's one of the head groundskeepers. So Gary, I don't know if you listen to the show or not. I guess I've never asked, but I'm going to make sure I send it to you so you get the shout out. And Gary said if I ever want to go on the field or whatever, let him know. So I will take you up on that because you've offered that for a couple of years in a row. So thanks, Gary. The thing on Monday night, Veterans Affinity, there was 140 tickets for us, for veterans. The person that handled it, her name is Terry. She's with Dignity. She's with the final, what do you call it? I don't want to say funeral, I guess funeral home, whatever, but Dignity. So Terry, a wonderful job. That was super cool. We got to meet Mark and Alexa Breyer there, the husband and wife team. They're if you either like them or hate them based on their commercials, super cool people. They came up to our section, walked around. They were probably there an hour saying thank you to all the veterans. So Mark and Alexa Breyer, I've gained a new respect for you, and I want to be on one of your commercials. Your next March Madness commercial, I'm going to ask you if I can be on it because I love that commercial. I guess that's about it. I'm going to be doing this upcoming weekend. Actually, as you're listening to this, it's on Saturday. I'm going to go to a beer tasting out at Desert Diamond Casino. I'm not sure yet, but I'm going to try to see if Tiger Woods is free to give me a ride home. So we'll see how that goes. Let's jump into it. Is that enough shout outs, Anthony? Or did I lose you a while back? Are you still
already
with
gone?
me?
Yeah, no, I'll see you again next Thursday when we record.
Excellent. And being April Fool's Day, I would think you're kidding, but I know better. So lots going on.
No more fooling this show.
No fooling. The show's going to be serious. We have to make this show every show is about current events and how they're likely to affect your future, affect your finances, your kids, your grandkids. So it's hard to make things light when everything you talk about is kind of negative, but today I'll do my best. So March 9th, going back a couple weeks ago, March 9th of this year was the 17th year anniversary of the bottom of the 2008 correction. They called it the Great Recession. So I want to remind you, Anthony loves the movie Boom Bust Boom. I think it's still on YouTube now. You have to look up that movie Boom Bust Boom. We are in the biggest boom cycle in the history of our markets, I believe. And I bring this up, I want to get it out of the way because, today is only Wednesday. This week, Monday, the market was down noticeably. Tuesday, Trump put a Truth Social post out showing a 2,000-pound bunker buster bomb hitting where I guess underground they keep nukes or whatever they keep. Who knows what it is. And then came out as he's showing this video. Then the same day, he basically said the war's over, 2 or 3 more weeks. We'll be out of there. Good news. The market jumped for joy. So, and I'm watching this stuff let's see here. On Tuesday, the Dow Jones jumped 1,125 points. The Dow Jones, that's the index. That's the one that has 30 companies in it. So that one jumped 2.5% in one day. The S&P 500, the same day, jumped 3%. And the NASDAQ jumped 4%, all on Tuesday. So I guess when the war is over, the market, instead of Dow 50, which we already experienced like a month ago, I guess we start talking Dow 75. I guess we start talking about national.
The war doesn't have to be over. You just have to have an article that says that the war is over. Remember, just like COVID. COVID didn't get fixed and nothing was resolved, but they said that potentially they have a cure. and then it started skyrocketing, which really didn't matter because then they just printed all the money to help up the market. But it is funny. So if you guys have time on your hands, read the articles for a week or two at the end of every market day and see what their reasoning is for why it goes up and why it goes down, and how miraculous it is that what they say one day doesn't matter the next. It's so dumb.
It's so dumb. Buffett indicator be damned. PE ratios. Remember like a year or two ago when we talked about Carvana, there was like 230, whatever, it was 230,000 PE ratio. It was just dumb. So
at least they were, making profits.
Hey, I mean,
some companies don't make profits at all, and they
none of them right now. Look at Saks Fifth Avenue's closing. Did you hear that? I mean, that's huge. And there's more commercial real estate in New York that's going to be very hard to fill. So, I mean, that store has been out, I don't know, 100 years. That's like a staple in our country, especially in New York City. And apparently they tried to restructure. They've been closing stores, but they're going to go away, I guess. I mean, I don't know. That's what I read an article on. So I don't know. I mean, this is crazy. So when the war is over, I mean, do we have to talk at all about AI, data centers, healthcare, borders, politics, sleeper cells, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, commercial real estate, private credit stress with gates and fees, late payments on credit cards, auto loans, subprime auto loans? I mean, okay, cool. So the war's over, the market's going to jump. Then we have to get back to the fact that we've been in a recession for a few years. Can we go into a depression? I'm finally starting to hear the word, stagflation has been poked around again lately, which is not good. Look into the 1970s. And by the way, we went over a $4 average gallon of gas price on Monday. Now, apparently this morning, it's like $4.16, I think it was this morning I saw nationwide. Arizona, you're way worse. We're not quite California, but we're not far behind. I mean, if you get gas in Arizona, you're more like $5 and a quarter, $5.50. My vehicle takes premium, unfortunately. I paid $6.30 a gallon last weekend to get gas. I didn't go to the Sam's Club or QT is getting up there expensive too on me, but I went to a Chevron, and just because I didn't want to go out of my way. $6.30. I'm sorry, I'm exaggerating again. It was only $6.29. So that shocked me a little bit because that's crazy. And I don't drive much. My office is close to my home. I don't drive much, so it doesn't affect me. I can't imagine somebody who lives on the east side and works on the west side or vice versa. I don't know. One more thing I'm going to bring up when I talk about the market jumping for joy, because somebody tweeted that the war is almost over. The banks. I won't get into it today. I just don't have time, but I've got to really kind of keeping it in the forefront of your mind every week. It wouldn't surprise me whatsoever if a Friday night, 6:00 Arizona time or after, if we heard about a bank holiday. There's no money. The government who runs the banks on a fractional reserve system, they made the reserve amount 0% in March of 2020. So literally over 6 years ago, they said to the banks, every single dollar that comes in here, you can do whatever you want. Mortgage-backed securities, derivatives, whatever, loans, reverse mortgages, credit cards, whatever you want to do your thing, because we got to spur the economy. And you know what? They never took away that 0% requirement. So I don't know. Look up Dodd-Frank regulations. Remember Barney Frank? Look up the Dodd-Frank. It's 2010. It's kind of lengthy, so probably do an internet search and find summaries of it. But they introduce you to the term bail-in, like they did in other countries like Greece and Cyprus and others. So just keep in the back of your mind. Anthony said it years ago, and I think a few times since, the economy is not the stock market, and the stock market is not the economy. And the stock market, I guess, by the way, today on April Fool's Day, April 1st, our commander-in-chief is doing some sort of a speech tonight at 9:00 Eastern Standard Time. I'll be glued to my TV. I'm pretty sure Anthony will not, but I want to hear what he says, because I'm sure it has to do with, gas prices will be back down soon, kids, don't worry. And I'm sure it'll have to do with we won the war. We bombed everything, so we're good to go now. We can move on. I don't know. So the market should skyrocket again tomorrow. You know what? My answer to you, we can't give general specific financial advice on the radio. Come in and sit with us. Let's see what's appropriate for you. But I would say make sure you're aware of what you have, Make sure you're awake and aware and nimble. Make sure you're ready in case you need to make changes. We can help if you want our help. We'll be glad to do it. Like Anthony says every week, we don't have the pressure and quotas of the big dogs. There's no minimums. If you have $5,000, we're going to treat you the same way as if you have $5 million. So we will help you if you need it. But make sure you are awake. And like I bring up a lot, make sure you understand the term bail in. And then if you can be proactive and sense that one is imminent, do your thing. We are big believers in moderation and diversification. Anthony is a really good financial advisor. Horrible human being, but a great financial advisor. I say this because I've been in the industry almost 30 years, and Anthony does what's right for people. It may not make him the most money. He may not get as much money by keeping people safe. He's heavy in a cash position right now. And again, I'm talking in generalities. I can't give any specifics about Anthony and how he manages his business. But I can tell you what, if opportunities make their way to us, Anthony's ready for them. So he's got your powder dry. He's ready to help you. If this market has another 2000 or 2008, or God forbid, the two combined, and there's opportunities, and your advisor at the big wirehouse says, yes, I know I just made sure you lost 20 or 30% of your money, but give me more money because now there's opportunities. Anthony is going the other way. He has been proactive. He's still looking at energy and precious metals and whatever sectors are important. So, but come see him. I promise you it's not a bad thing. What else? We like to look for opportunities. Let's say you're in retirement or getting close to retirement and you've put off dealing with should you address long-term care. We are both certified long-term care specialists, but we are very leery of traditional long-term care. Our fear in general is these companies will take your whatever, $500, $600 a month for 5 years, and then they will raise your premiums until it's cost prohibitive. So we look at something called asset-based long-term care planning. We want to talk to you about that. We want to talk to you about safe accounts that still do really well. If you're a CD junkie, a CD jockey, and you ladder your CDs out 1 year, 5 year, whatever, the rates are decent, better than the 14 years in a row we had no interest. We have alternatives with insurance companies where instead of 1.4% guarantee on your bank and credit union money, we have accounts that are 100% insured and guaranteed by the company, or they couldn't operate in the state to help you. Let us tell you about those. So we have CD alternatives. But I can tell you what, when you have safe accounts and the returns are stock market similar, you need to know about that. You need to know that there are different things than whatever you've been pitched or told is evil. We'd like to help. Let's see here. What else is going on? Jerome Powell spoke this week. Anthony, did you watch it? Did you see him talking?
Nope. I wait to hear it on another money show.
You're waiting? You're waiting for me to summarize Jerome Powell? It was, let me tell you, it was super creepy. Jerome Powell, I listened. Oh, and something, I forgot a shout out. On Tuesday, the 31st of March, I was on the Patriot Radio News Hour with Joe Jaquint and Jason Walker. And we talk about Powell because he just talked the day before. But thank you again, Jason and Joe. I love being on your show. I think we have a very symbiotic, what would you call it? We have a very good working relationship because we do different things. We complement each other, and we all think this system is shaky at best. We all think the financial system is somewhat a house of cards. Guess who this week basically came out of the financial closet and said he is also thinking we're on shaky ground? Jerome Powell. The honesty, it's funny because these people, they're paid to deceive. They're paid to lie to us. I would tell you that. But Jerome Powell, he said a couple things that were just gold. Anthony, you should look these up later, at least see clips. One of the things he straight out said, we don't need to pay down the debt. We're at 39 trillion. We don't need to pay it down. We just have to figure out how to grow the economy to get around it, to get bigger than it. What does that mean, Jerome? Come out and say straight out what you mean. We need to print trillions upon trillions of more dollars coming up. So I don't know. He said we don't need to pay out the debt. One thing he said that kind of frightened me I wasn't expecting this, at least to be said out loud. He said that we are anticipating a cyber attack on the financial system. I'm not making this up, kids. I love the fact that 4 years on the radio, you don't get to call us out on stuff that's wrong. Well, Kevin did one time because I said something. I said we're in the longest bear run something or bull run. He said, well, there's one more. Anyway, so Jerome Powell said that we can expect a cyber attack on our financial system. Did you mean the banks, Jerome? Did you mean Wall Street? What are you talking about? And to me, the thought that somebody would come out and say that and it not become news at 5 o'clock on my local news is shocking. Iran agrees with Jerome Powell. Hopefully, Sam and Anthony, two of my favorite sons, hopefully you've heard this. Let me cite an article. One of the reasons I have articles every week, it's too much to remember just to summarize for you. So I put the article in front of me and it helps me get through this. So here's from MSN. So mainstream MSN says here, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, a branch of Iran's armed forces, has threatened to target U.S. tech companies' operations in the Middle East. It told employees of 18 companies, including Apple, Google, Meta, and NVIDIA. Those must be small, obscure companies. I'm not familiar with those names. Since the main element in designing and tracking terror targets are American information and communications technology and AI companies, in response to this terrorist operation, from now on, the main institutions effective in terrorist operations will be our legitimate targets, the IRGC said in a statement. The military force warned it will start targeting the companies on Wednesday evening. That's tonight as I record. So as you listen to this, we will see if it did happen or if it's not going to happen at all. We don't know yet. So we shall see. Should I read a little bit?
Maybe it's just a hilarious April Fool's joke.
That could be, except it came out on Monday. So they jumped the gun. So close. But they did say they're going to start attacking on April Fool's Day. So maybe they were doing a pre-April Fool's Day joke. I don't know. Iran previously pledged to attack companies and banks tied to U.S. and Israel through the warning issued Tuesday. Though the warning issued on Tuesday had a specific deadline. Earlier this month, Iranian drones struck Amazon data centers in Bahrain and the United Arab Emirates, disrupting Amazon Web Service operations in the region. So apparently they might do it again. I know we're getting close to break time, so I want to read to you all of the companies. I want to read this to you on purpose, all 18. I am not ever going to give you any kind of financial information directed at you, Mr. or Mrs. listening audience. But if you own stock in these companies, at least you should know this. At least the news should have told you to watch out so you can be proactive, not reactive on your portfolio. So the list that were threatened, straight out named and threatened: Apple, Google, Microsoft, Meta, NVIDIA, Intel, IBM, Oracle, Cisco, Dell, HP, Tesla, JP Morgan, Boeing, General Electric, Palantir, Spire Solutions, and G42. Those who were the ones that were named to be potential target attacks for this evening. Or if you're listening on Saturday, for a few days ago. Ooh, I need to slow down and breathe. Why don't we do this? Why don't we ease ourselves into break time? Speaking of drones and attacks, I'm guessing, at least Anthony and Sam, you guys are hearing about this. There's still drones attacking military bases. I mean, the newest one, Washington, Washington, they're going to use laser weapons to shoot down drones. It's about darn time. There's a base where Pete Hegseth, Marco Rubio, Pam Bondi, Stephen Miller, some pretty important brass live. And they've had some drones going overhead, so that's crazy. I know an F-35 went down in Nevada, Nellis Air Force Base yesterday. It's just so much going on. Anyway, let's take a break. So reach out to us. We would love to meet you. We would love your show ideas. We would love to be a second opinion on your finances. We are at 623-523-0444. Again, that number is 623-523-0444. Or if you're shy, you can email team@anothermoneyshow.com. Again, that's team@anothermoneyshow.com. And do check out our YouTube channel. We need your help. That one I'm begging for your help to get us, keep that growing. We will be back in a minute. Thank you so much, as always, for being with us. We do greatly appreciate it.
Stay right there. Another Money Show returns in moments. And be sure to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review.
You check your account balance and realize you have no idea where your last paycheck actually went. Bills are piling up, that nagging anxiety kicks in, and you wonder, how did I even get here? If that hits too close to home, you're far from alone, and April just happens to be the one month of the year the entire country stops to do something about it. I'm Jim Tarabokia for the Retirement.Radio Network, powered by AmeriLife.
Financial literacy is so important because it's what you're going to base the rest of your life on, resource-wise.
John Ford of CNBC bringing up an obvious but important pointer about money and finances. April is National Financial Literacy Month. It started back in the early 2000s when Congress realized too many Americans were leaving school without the first clue about how to manage a paycheck, a credit card, or a financial future. Fast forward to 2026, and the problem hasn't gone away. In fact, nearly half of U.S. adults still give themselves a C- or worse on money knowledge. And as CNBC's Bertha Combs tells us, one of the best investments you can give yourself, learning how to manage your money.
You know, we all work very hard for our money, and we should learn how to make our money work for us. And I think if you invest in knowing how to manage your money, that it will pay off as you get older. It'll pay off in your life.
It's about knowing enough to stop making the same expensive mistakes and finally starting to make decisions that move your financial life forward. So here are 5 quick financial wins you can achieve this month. Review one monthly bill and see if you can cut, renegotiate, or cancel it. Follow that with pulling up your free credit report and spot any surprises. Next, set one small savings goal. Even $20 a paycheck counts. Don't forget to learn just one new money concept, like how compound interest actually works for you instead of against you. And maybe the most powerful one, sit down with your partner and or your kids and have one honest conversation about money. No judgment, just a real talk. While Financial Literacy Month won't fix every financial bump in the road you may have, it can be the month you finally stop feeling helpless about money and start feeling in control. So pick one thing, do it this week, because the best time to get smarter with your money was 20 years ago. The second best time? Right now in April. For the Retirement.Radio Network, powered by AmeriLife, I'm Jim Tarabokia.
Welcome back to Another Money Show. To schedule your free, no-obligation consultation with JR and Anthony, visit anothermoneyshow.com or call 623-523-0444.
Welcome back to Another Money Show. Thank you so much for being with us. As you know, we greatly appreciate it. We love your support. So anything we can do to help you, also let us know. If you need a shout out, I mean, that seems to be the biggest part of the show now. I've actually got people that want to shout out. You know what we haven't heard from in a while? We haven't heard from Art on the East Valley. So Art, if you're listening, you need to call in and just let us know that you heard your shout out, because we miss you calling in. We did talk to a woman that listens to the show that I've spoken with before. We haven't met her yet. Her name is Bobby. And Bobby had a nice chat with Macy this week. So Bobby, thank you for still listening. So I do remember you. I do remember talking to you. Bobby was bringing up some interesting stuff that I hadn't thought about too. So maybe I'll bring it up real quick. So Bobby said how, you know how the air quality right now in Arizona is so bad. Sam, I'm glad you're in Georgia, not here, because the air quality is really bad. Everybody feels like they have allergies. So Bobby brought up, is there any chance, since the war in the Middle East has been going on for a year, could the air currents bring some of those chemicals and stuff over here? And I was like, I never thought of that. So, Macy said that, Bobby said that that's something she wonders. And then Macy said in front of her husband, Michael C. from Sun City, shout him out. He said it's more likely that it would be from the volcanoes in Hawaii. And then, of course, I chimed in and I said, what about the chemtrails? And then Macy said, what about seasonal allergies? So if you're listening to us and your eyes are watering or itching and you're coughing a lot, it is chemical bomb parts from the Middle East, volcanoes from the Hawaiian Islands, seasonal allergies, and the main culprit, of course, is chemtrails. So we got you covered. Make sure you see your allergist. Why don't we do this? You know what? I'm going to get the Festivus report item knocked out so we can move on with articles and current events. If you're new with us, we bring up one item of waste every week until we run out, from Rand Paul's Festivus report that comes out every December. We're already into April, and I've got a new one for you here. This one, the amount wasted is $13.8 million. This one should actually make you kind of pissed off if you've got a heart. Speaking of Fauci, for years, I've also fought his brutal Beagle tests. And although he retired from the NIH at the end of 2022, his legacy of pet abuse lives on. One research project that was funded during Fauci's 38-year tenure as the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, the old NIAID, involves infesting beagle puppies with hundreds of disease-carrying ticks. Fauci, if you're one of our listeners, stop. We don't want you. Like Katie Hochul with rich people from New York. Get out. Go to Palm Beach. Let's see here. In the Fauci-funded, I guess you have to really be a news hound to catch that reference, but believe me, New York, now they're bleeding their tax base, and now Kathy wants you back. Let's see here. In the Fauci-funded research at the University of Missouri/Columbia, puppies as young as 4 months old are exposed to ticks by having capsules full of the arachnids glued to their bare skin to infect the dogs with illnesses like Rocky Mountain spotted fever. According to research records obtained by the watchdog White Coat Waste, dozens of the puppies are intentionally denied pain relief so that it does not interact with the infection or experimental vaccines. The NIH-funded project plans to use 436 beagles, some of which come from an abusive puppy mill. Fauci admitted to Congress last year that he personally signed off on the animal tests funded. This project alone is funded by 3 different Fauci-era NIAID grants, which have cost taxpayers over $13.8 million so far. Fauci should be prosecuted and the puppies should be pardoned instead. Amen. So, and I'm not going to tell you which of my sons put on the board Missouri is a waste. You can't say that. I mean, Missouri. Somebody told me it was pronounced Missouri. And then I said somebody that I know that lives in Missouri that I knew Missouri, and they said, no, it's Missouri. Just trust me, it's not Missouri. So if you're from Missouri or Missouri, whatever it is, you're not a waste. We still love you. We're glad you're listening. We have listeners in the Philippines and maybe even Missouri. We don't know. So if that doesn't make you angry, I'm sorry for you. But, you know, you can do tests on humans, and it would suck, but it doesn't break my heart. But once you get to puppies, beagle puppies, I'm out. Moving on. Anthony, do you have anything to say? That's not hypothetical. You're a brand new dog parent from a couple years ago, and I know how much you love
No,
dogs.
obviously it sucks to hear, but that's how we learn things. You know, starts with rats and bigger animals and then eventually gets to human testing. So
Let's start with the human testing and work our way down to rats, though. I don't know. I just think animals, I think you should leave alone the elderly people, kids.
that's what COVID was. COVID was human testing, and you didn't seem to be thrilled about that either. So I need you to make up your mind.
I had COVID 3 times. I was a big fan. I had it once. I enjoyed it. I still didn't get tested, swabbed, vaccinated. I went back and got it a second time. So I had it in February of 2020. I had it the following July. Then I had it a year later, the following July. And you know what happened? My immune system got stronger. Screw you, COVID. Anyway, why don't we do this? You know what? Today I really noticed your beard. I want to talk about your beard for a second because it's good and bad. Anthony, what my observation was this morning, because you were sitting where the light shines, like from the front window towards where we were sitting, comb that sucker. Your beard's great because it's fashionable right now, but comb it. You got to run a comb through it. Anthony looks like Frank Zappa a little bit. So in light of Anthony's current beard situation, I thought I would read to you today. This is a special Easter treat for our listening audience. I thought I would read my very favorite Frank Zappa quote. You want to hear it, Anthony?
Do you have a choice?
Frank, not at all. You want to hear this, or you're going to hear about normal
questions? Then just get on with it. Let's hear.
I'm trying to take my time today and be Eastery. Frank Zappa was alive from 1940 to 1993. So I don't know when this quote was, but it was a long time ago. Anyway, Here is a quote from the Frank Zappa. The illusion of freedom will continue as long as it's profitable to continue the illusion. At the point where the illusion becomes too expensive to maintain, they will just take down the scenery. They will pull back the curtains. They will move the tables and the chairs out of the way, and you will see the brick wall at the back of the theater. You want to hear that again? Did you catch all that? That's what's going on in our country. Why hasn't the dollar crashed? Why haven't things? How can you prop the market up? Because they're not ready to show us the brick wall yet. Frank Zappa saw this years and years ago. He saw it in the 90s or 80s. He saw this. George Carlin was telling you how things are so many years ago. So many people can't see it. We're busy. We've got too much to do. We can't see that things are a problem. And I just...
You know how they saw it? Because they opened their mind.
That's if you're listening to us, we are full service financial advisors. We think you should diversify. We think you should ladder your money out. We think you should have hard assets like food, water, guns, ammo, tools. So here's one for you. In light of all the recent turmoil at the airports, Sam, I know at your airport, it was up to a 9-hour wait, at least on 1 or 2 days, because it made it to the news. So ICE baby went to the airports. I guess there was a big protest at Phoenix Sky Harbor with a bunch of people saying to ICE to get out of the airport. So let's see here. Here's an article I found that was interesting because I did not know about this. This is from Fox Business from the 24th of March. So, and we'll put this under in your haves versus have-nots news section. Let's see here. Delta suspends VIP services for Congress members amid DHS shutdown and TSA delays. Members of Congress are losing a perk of flying Delta Airlines. The Atlanta-based Delta has suspended specialty services for members of Congress flying Delta due to the impact on resources from the long-standing government shutdown. Delta will temporarily suspend specialty services to members of Congress. I've said the same thing 6 times now. Article, get moving. Flying Delta, a company spokesperson told Fox Business. Let's see here. Delta has traditionally given priority VIP service to congressional members, allowing them to skip TSA lines and escorting them to their gates. I didn't know that. That seems like something I would have found out in my travels. Now, members of Congress will be told they are going to be treated like other passengers based on their respective Sky Miles status. Additionally, Delta was suspending its special congressional desk service for lawmakers until the government shutdown ends, according to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. One more thing here. As many Americans probably don't know, I'm one of them, but most of us in Washington do know, airports around the country allow members of Congress to bypass the usual TSA security screening process at airports nationwide. Cornyn wrote in a statement rebuking the unfair perk. In other words, they get to skip the line. Did you know that, Anthony?
I think I'd heard that before.
I've never heard this before. I had no idea. I guess in the back of my mind when I read this, I just kind of figured that they all had private planes and they had special gates where they don't go through the airport. I've never seen Nancy Pelosi running like O.J. Simpson through an airport. So I didn't know that they were among us, the people they serve, the people they represent. I didn't know that they were here and among us. So interesting. Moving on from our Congress members, here's something for you from the End Times headlines from the 27th of March. Iran-linked hackers breach FBI director's personal email, publish excerpts online. Iran-linked hackers on Friday said they accessed FBI Director Kash Patel's personal email inbox, publishing photographs of the director and other documents to the internet. On their website, they have a website. The hackers are proud of their work. They take donations and they have subscription-based sections. Sorry. On their website, the hacker group Handala Hack Team said Patel will now find his name among the list of successfully hacked victims. The hackers published a series of personal photographs of Patel sniffing and smoking cigars, riding in an antique convertible, and making a face while taking a picture of himself in the mirror with a large bottle of rum. Oh, sounds like he's a human. A Justice Department official confirmed that Patel's email had been breached and said the material published online appeared authentic. The FBI did not respond to a request for comment. Handala, which presents itself as a group of pro-Palestinian vigilante hackers, is considered by Western researchers to be one of several personas used by Iranian government cyber intelligence units. Handala recently claimed the hack of Michigan-based medical devices and services provider Stryker on March 11th, saying they had deleted a massive trove of company data. Let's move on. Let's go to, I want to get to an article. The name keeps coming up. I've heard it several times recently. This article is from February 26th of 2026 from the Wealth Advisor. Pentagon hardens its ultimatum to Anthropic in a feud over AI use, making public a threat to effectively ban the artificial intelligence startup from the U.S. military's vast supply chain. Sean Parnell warned Anthropic of a deadline of Friday, 5:01 p.m. in Washington to allow the Pentagon unfettered use of Anthropic's Claude Gov AI tools after the company had previously insisted on some safeguards. In its discussions with the Pentagon, Anthropic has asked U.S. officials to refrain from using products to create weapons that autonomously target enemy combatants or conduct mass surveillance of U.S. citizens, according to people familiar with the matter. The Pentagon has pushed back and demanded that the ability to use Claude, one of the only AI tools cleared for classified cloud work, without any restrictions from the company. The Defense Department has also threatened to use the Cold War era Defense Production Act to use Anthropic's software anyway. So we got a little private company versus government showdown here. The reason that I brought this article out of its dusty little cover from way back in February, Anthropic has been in the news this week quite a bit. Apparently, there were 2 breaches in their systems just this week. They said that they were caused by human error, not by any cyber issues, which, you know me, I put on the old tinfoil hat. I think the fire, which we never heard anything else about, in Texas at the Valero plant, that was suspect timing. It's suspect timing that there's cyber breaches at Anthropic, right, as all this stuff's going on in Iran, but I don't know. Who knows? 18th of March for you from Politico. FBI is buying data that can be used to track people, Patel says. The U.S. Supreme Court has required law enforcement agencies to obtain a warrant for getting people's location data from cell phone providers since 2018. But data brokers offer an alternative avenue by purchasing the information directly. Many lawmakers want to end the practice. Senators Ron Wyden and Mike Lee introduced the Government Surveillance Reform Act on March 13th, which would require federal enforcement and intelligence agencies to obtain a warrant to buy Americans' personal information. Doing that without a warrant is an outrageous end run around the Fourth Amendment, and it's particularly dangerous given the use of artificial intelligence to comb through massive amounts of private information, Wyden said on Wednesday. Committee Chair Tom Cotton defended the practice at the hearing. The key words are commercially available. if any other person can buy it and the FBI can buy it and it helps them locate a depraved child molester or savage cartel leader, I would certainly hope the FBI is doing anything it can to keep Americans safe, he said. Defense Intelligence Agency Director James Adams told senators at the hearing that his agency also purchases commercially available information. So I guess what I'm getting from this is, we all know that there's surveillance. Most of us know that if you have a cell phone with you, somebody could hear you. If you're talking about dog food, all of a sudden Chewy ads show up. Not a coincidence. So the government is finding ways to track every single thing you do. And I just want that reminder to be out. This stuff with Anthropic and all the AI and data center stuff, it's scary. I don't know how it all ends, but I know it's scary. So I want to switch gears again. We have a little time left before I turn it over to the one and only Frank Zappa lookalike Anthony. So here's something from the Daily Mail on the 26th of March. Food rationing, panic buying, planes grounded, and an economic hammer blow far worse than COVID. Economists explain nightmare scenario that could be just weeks away due to the Iran war. So I want to bring that up. I read the title of it last week and we ran out of time. I want to bring it up for a reason. We always pride ourselves in telling people we want them prepared, not scared. We want them proactive, not reactive. If you're a newer listener and you piece together the fact that we are financial advisors for a living, come see us. Bring your statements. We'll talk. We'll brainstorm. We'll make sure you're in the right places. We'll make sure you're in what's best for you. But we also are very, very well-rounded. If last Wednesday's, President Trump's speech isn't about the end of the war coming soon, if things get escalated, if one of the 18 companies or more get attacked, things could still get sketchy. So I want to bring this up. So this article, let me read just a little bit. Fears are mounting that the world is heading towards an economic blow far worse than the COVID pandemic within weeks, as the Iran conflict threatens global oil and gas supplies. That's where the problem is. The global, diesel's up $6-7. So experts warned it could trigger food shortages, grounded flights, and panic buying as countries risk running out of fuel and energy if key shipping routes remain shut. Analysts say the crisis is no longer just about rising prices, but the risk of a full-blown supply crunch, with some countries unable to secure enough energy to meet demand. That could trigger a domino effect across the global economy, hitting everything from air travel to food production. This guy says if the strait stays closed for 2 months, you'll have plants without feedstock and we'll get real rationing. We'll have panic buying and hoarding. So we have always told people we think you should stock up. We think you should be ready. If you had to be in your house for, say, 3 weeks or 6 weeks because of a solar flare, EMP, any kind of a military weapon, you should be able to do that. You cannot be awake in this country over the last 10, 15, 20 years and not think something could give. Do I know when or where or what or how or why? Of course not. I don't have a working crystal ball, but I do know that there's a lot of uncertainty. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a list here from another article. This is on mainstream. This is MSN.com on the 11th of March. They give you a list here. I'm going to read part of this list, and then I'm going to turn it over to Anthony. It says something you might want to have on hand: a battery-operated or wind-up flashlight. Flashlights are safer than candles. A portable power bank for charging your cell phone. A battery-operated or wind-up radio to stay informed during a power outage. A car radio can be used, but in severe weather, it might be safer to stay indoors. Extra batteries for your flashlight and radio, and a backup battery for any medical equipment you depend on. A first aid kit, hand sanitizer, and wet wipes for hygiene. Bottled water. You all know what happened during COVID with bottled water and all that. Non-perishable food that doesn't require cooking, like ready-to-eat canned meat or vegetables. Remember to include food for your pets. Baby necessities such as diapers and baby formula. All right, so I just thought I'd read that because I want to remind you that even though it's Easter and everything's going to be okay, if anything changes, you should be ready ahead of things, not after. Call us.
Or you could buy a Navy SEALs bug-in guide or no-grid survival projects.
Yes, and I would if I were you. So our financial planning, we are well-rounded enough to even help you with how to secure food and water if things get weird based on your money and your space constraints. We have 2 minutes left, Anthony. Do you want to wish people a happy Easter? What do you want to do? Yours.
Happy
Time's
Easter.
yours.
If the world hasn't ended yet, happy Easter. Even if it has ended, happy Easter anyways. That's it for today's show. If you like what you heard, you have questions on any of the topics today, or you want to sit down with us to review your personal financial situation, you can reach us at team@anothermoneyshow.com. Find us on the web, anothermoneyshow.com. You can book appointments straight from the website, which some people do. They do on occasion. But mostly they give us a call. They want to talk to Macy. So give Macy a call at 623-523-0444. That number again is 623-523-0444. And that number one more time so I can kill time is 623-523-0444. There's no minimums, no cost for appointments, nothing to lose by getting a second opinion on your financial situation. We'll see you again next Saturday at 5 a.m. and at noon and 11 p.m. on Friday nights on Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts. But if you're not listening to podcasts, you'll see us again on 960 The Patriot. Happy Easter.
Thanks for listening to Another Money Show. You deserve to work with a private wealth management firm that will strategically work to protect your hard-earned assets. To schedule your free, no-obligation consultation, visit anothermoneyshow.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Capital Management, LLC, BCM, a registered investment advisor. BCM and Rochford Financial are independent of each other. Insurance products and services are not offered through BCM, but are offered and sold through individually licensed and appointed agents. Investments involve risk and, unless otherwise stated, are not guaranteed. Past performance cannot be used as an indicator to determine future results.
I think we can all agree losing money sucks. No one likes to lose money, but outside of the 1-month downturn in 2020, the biggest black swan event in modern times, has anyone really felt the pain of a stock market loss? Has everyone forgotten how devastating 2008 was? What about the dot-com bubble? Are we all so naive as to think that this could never happen again? Hi, I'm J.R. Rotchford, host of Another Money Show. With almost 3 decades of experience, what if I told you I don't care if the bubble bursts again, because there's a way to make sure that market downturns don't throw off your retirement. Assets come and go. Income is forever. Protect your retirement by self-funding a pension, and you know you'll never outlive it. You may not have been lucky enough to have a job that offered a pension, but that doesn't mean you can't start your own. We can help. Reach out to us at 623-523-0444. That number again, 623-523-0444. Or find us on the web at anothermoneyshow.com and let us help you not worry about your retirement.
At Rochford and Associates, we know you've worked hard to earn your money, and you've worked even harder to save it. When it comes to wealth management and planning for retirement, J.R. Rochford and his team of specialists have been helping individuals, families, and business owners find financial freedom at their veteran-owned firm for more than 25 years. Give us a call now at 623-523-0444. That's 623-523-0444.
Do you want a steady stream of income for retirement? Then it's time to consider annuities. I'm Matt McClure with the Retirement.Radio Network, powered by AmeriLife. Gone are the days when most employers offered pensions with guaranteed lifetime payouts to their workers. But what if I told you that you can build your own personal pension? It's possible with an annuity. An annuity is a financial product that provides a series of regular payments to an individual over a specified period of time, often for the rest of their life.
There are several options for you to consider when choosing an annuity. Be confident in knowing that there is an annuity out there that can meet all of your needs.
Ford Stokes is founder and president of Active Wealth Management and author of the book Annuity 360. There are several different types of annuities, including fixed, variable, and fixed indexed.
A fixed annuity offers a specific guaranteed interest rate on their contributions to the account. A fixed index annuity is an accumulation-based product offered by an insurance company. The growth of your fixed index annuity is dependent on the performance of a chosen stock market index, but your money is not actually invested in this index. This offers you great growth potential and exceptional protection for your investment.
While each can provide tax-deferred growth and a lifetime income stream, variable annuities put your principal at risk in the market.
If you are currently investing in a variable annuity, your funds could be in serious trouble if the market experiences any downturns.
With so many possible choices to consider, it's essential you speak to a financial advisor or professional to help you make the best decision for your future. So, are you ready to consider an annuity as part of your retirement plan? It's a key question to consider as you approach what should be your golden years. With the Retirement.Radio network powered by AmeriLife, I'm Matt McClure. Fixed annuities, including multi-year guaranteed rate annuities, are not designed for short-term investments and may be subject to restrictions, fees, and surrender charges as described in the annuity contract. Guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuer.
Any comments regarding safe and secure products and guaranteed income streams refer only to fixed insurance products. They do not refer in any way to securities or investment advisory products. Fixed insurance and annuity product guarantees are subject to the claims-paying ability of the issuing company and are not offered by Brookstone.